We do just want to briefly break in with some breaking news right now. You're looking at video of former Attorney General Pam Bondi. The president has ousted Bondi from that role as Attorney General. This news just coming into the Local 10 newsroom. She will be replaced for now by the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. This according to multiple sources. We had reported that there were some discussions that the president was unhappy with Bondi's performance lately, especially in relation to the Epstein files investigation and the lack of a more robust set of investigations into his political opponents. So now the president, after saying in a statement yesterday that she was, quote, doing a good job, today has fired Pam Bondi as the Attorney General.
Well, there you have it. Pam Bondi, Attorney General of the United States, is no longer Pam Bondi, Attorney General of the United States. She is now Pam Bondi, private citizen of the United States. She was fired today by President Donald J. Trump and replaced by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche on an interim basis. So we're going to take a closer look at the story. We're going to see who is being thrown around as names of possible replacements for Pam Bondi, private citizen of the United States. And I have my own thoughts on a particular guy that I would like to see Donald Trump name as Attorney General. So we'll talk about that as well. But first, as I always like to do, I want to thank you guys for joining me here at The Right Side View and for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy it. So let's get right into it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the story here on Fox News Digital. So President Donald Trump fired Attorney General Pam Bondi Wednesday, according to two sources familiar with the matter who spoke with Fox News Digital. Trump confirmed the ouster in a Truth Social post Thursday, underscoring that he views her as a great American patriot and a loyal friend as she moves into an undisclosed role in the private sector. And he goes along and says some more kind things about Pam. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will serve as interim Attorney General, Fox News reported Thursday. It says Bondi met with Trump in the Oval Office Wednesday night ahead of his speech to the nation on the war in Iran, according to two sources familiar with it. It's always two sources familiar with the meeting who spoke to Fox News Digital ahead of Trump's announcement. From what I understand, from what I've heard, apparently she was begging for her job. She knew Wednesday night it was over, and she begged the president for her to be able to keep her job. Thankfully, he stayed with his decision and wasn't swayed by her begging. It says the president is reportedly considering replacing Bondi with Environmental Protection Agency Director Lee Zeldin. Again, according to sources familiar with the matter. Lee Zeldin, I don't know much about him. I don't know. I know that he has done a great job at the EPA. He's cut a lot of the horrible regulations that were put in place, especially climate regulations put in place by Obama and Biden in their times in the Oval Office. And those regulations were just crippling to segments of our economy. And he's done a great job of cutting those things. And I know he was a congressman in New York, and I know that he ran for governor and lost to Hochul. But beyond that, I don't know if he's 100% MAGA or if he's got some swamp in him. So that makes me a little nervous because I want us to be 100% sure on this next pick. And this is the source relayed to Fox News Digital that Zeldin would be a plausible replacement, adding that Trump could change his mind at any point, which he can. He's known for that. And I don't know about a plausible replacement because I don't know Lee Zeldin. But I just know that Trump's got to get it right. So Bondi confirmed her upcoming exit from the Department of Justice on X Thursday, saying she remains eternally grateful for the trust that President Trump placed in me to make America safe again. And then she goes on to say her platitudes. Now, the ouster follows a recent New York Times report detailing that Trump was preparing to replace Bondi with Zeldin as the president had become increasingly dissatisfied with her performance in the role as Attorney General. And I would stand up and give a standing ovation on that one, because I think the majority of us on the right agree and were equally dissatisfied with her performance in the role. She has essentially done nothing. Those of us on the right have been screaming from the rooftops, at least for the last 6 months, maybe 8 months, for Pam Bondi to step up to the plate and swing away. The problem with her is she never left the on deck circle. She never even came to the plate to take a swing. And we're here watching these deep state traitors and criminals, the John Brennans and James Clappers and Adam Schiffs and James Comey's, and Barack Obama. Even Barack Obama, it was the architect of the entire Russiagate hoax. He's the one, with the evidence that's been coming out here for the last couple of months. He's the one that signed off on it all, and none of it would have gotten as far as it did without his, signing off and agreeing to it. And this whole Russiagate hoax was a vehicle to upend and completely overthrow the duly elected president of the United States and his government. And that's treason. And nobody, not a single person, as of yet, has paid the price for those crimes. And they're serious crimes. They're crimes that used to warrant execution in this country. And nobody's even gotten a slap in the wrist. And that's what has us so infuriated here on the right, because this is our chance to start cleaning some of these things up, and nothing has happened, and we're tired of it. So, and with Donald Trump, for whatever reason, this is the Attorney General position is his Achilles heel. He, there's a lot of things that Trump does that's great, that I love, but he just cannot pick an Attorney General. Starting with Jeff Sessions, and then Bill Barr, who was an unmitigated disaster, and then Pam Bondi, who was not much better. And I don't know what it is, but the interesting part of this whole story to me is there's two things. Number one, when Trump fired Kristi Noem, he had Mullen ready to go. He replaced her right away with Mullen, nominated him. He's already in the job and doing his thing over there. He didn't have a replacement for her set to go, which tells me he was giving her every chance in the world to step up and start doing something. And so she knew this was coming. This goes all the way back to August of last year, that he's been warning her, hey, you need to get moving and start holding these people accountable. And I don't know what she's been doing. It almost seems as though she's protecting many of those people. And that is even worse and cannot stand. So he needed to make this move 6 months ago. But at least he's made the move. So it also tells me, though, the second thing it tells me is he knows that he's got to get this 100% right. He's got to nail this thing right in the bullseye and get the right person in there. Otherwise, nobody is going to be held accountable. And we want people held accountable. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, if somebody has committed crimes, they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Now, that I mentioned earlier that I had a name in mind, the guy that I think that I would love to see Trump nominate for that position is Ron DeSantis. He's he's a guy who I think has the iron will, the stomach, and he's got the personality and to take this position on because it's going to be rough. He's going to be getting it from the left, and he's going to be getting pressure from the right to to do these things that Pam Bondi would not do. So if I was Trump, and I'm hoping that he's having these conversations with Ron DeSantis is he's getting ready to finish up his term as governor, and I think it's a great move for him to move into the attorney general position, and I think he would be phenomenal in that position. So I'm hoping that Trump does that. Now, on those on the left who are celebrating today, and they're laughing and smiling and happy as can be, and the only reason they are is because they see this as being an embarrassment to Trump. And anything that embarrasses Trump, they're 100% on board for. But I think those smiles, if Trump picks the right person and puts him in place, I think those smiles are going to disappear really quick because whoever takes the position is going to know from the man himself, from Trump himself, that when you sit down in that chair on the first day, you better be moving on these things because he's had it just like we have. So the people, I guarantee you, the only ones that are not smiling today are Barack Obama and John Brennan and Adam Schiff and James Clapper. These guys know, and that's why it doesn't make sense that the left was pushing so hard to have Bondi fired or resign because she wasn't doing anything to them. She wasn't going to. If they would have just kept their mouths shut, and he kept her on, they would have been safe. I don't think they're safe now, which is good news. I'm happy to say that. I don't think they're safe now, provided that Trump gets it right this time. He's got it wrong 3 times for Attorney General. He needs to get it right. So also here it says Bondi's entire tenure at the Department of Justice has been riddled with public scrutiny, especially as it relates to her promise to release the entirety of the Jeffrey Epstein files. And that's the other part of this that she has failed so miserably on. We want the files released. I don't care. This is not a left-right issue. We want the files released. We, as unredacted as is humanly possible, protect the victims for sure. Nobody wants the victims to be named in this. But the guilty parties, the people that were cavorting with Epstein, who were involved in his escapades, we want them named and we want them brought to justice. And I think everybody, again, left or right, feels the same way. Release all the files and let the chips fall where they may. And if it embarrasses Republicans, so be it. If it, Democrats, so be it. This is not a left-right thing. These are horrible crimes that Jeffrey Epstein was guilty of committing, and the people that ran with him. And we want justice, and we want justice for those victims that suffered by these monsters. Now finally, the trickle of information from our agency over the ensuing year and the lack of new information left Americans frustrated that she was reneging on the promises of releasing the files. And she was reneging on those promises, and she was saying contradicting things. One day she was saying, the Epstein client list is on my desk to review. And the next thing you know, she's testifying before Congress saying that there is no Epstein client list, which everybody in the world knows there's an Epstein client list somewhere, as well as I'm sure a couple of hundred videotapes of some seamy things. So Pam Bondi is no longer at the Department of Justice, and I, for one, am happy with that. So anyway, thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click that like button and leave a comment down below as well about this whole situation. Let me know what you think. And again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll look to see you in the next video.